All right, let's jump right in. For the last couple of years, NVIDIA has felt like this untouchable fortress at the absolute center of the AI revolution. But after its historic run, you have to be asking, is the fortress finally about to be breached? We're going to break down the entire investment case for what's next in AI and figure out if the market has it right.
You know, to really understand the battle for AI dominance, you first have to understand the single biggest problem that's facing the entire industry. And spoiler alert, it's not about chips and it's not about software. It's about a massive, looming collision with physical reality.
And this right here lays out the problem perfectly. See that red line shooting for the moon? That's AI's insatiable hunger for compute power. And that flat black line? Well, that's the world's energy supply. By 2028, the #1 bottleneck for AI isn't going to be silicon. It's going to be the lack of raw power, just not enough electrons. And here's the kicker. You can stand up a new data center in maybe 1 or 2 years, but it takes 4, 5, even 6 years to build the power plants and the grid to actually run it. AI is on a collision course with the laws of physics.
So this coming energy crisis, it basically sets the stage for a huge conflict. And right in the middle of it all, Fortress NVIDIA. Now, while it seems invincible, there is a multi-front assault getting underway. We're talking 4 credible threats gathering at the gates, and together they form the most compelling bear case against the company we've seen yet.
So what does this siege actually look like? Well, it's coming from 4 directions all at once. First, you've got fierce competition, what people are calling the silicon divorce. Second, there are critical supply chain bottlenecks. Third, those physical limits of power we just talked about. And finally, you have immense financial pressure from customers who are frankly getting tired of paying NVIDIA's massive premiums.
Now, this first threat is, without a doubt, the biggest one. NVIDIA's largest customers, we're talking Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, they're all becoming its biggest competitors. They are pouring billions into designing their own custom AI chips. And why? Well, it's simple. To escape NVIDIA's sky-high margins and take back control. This is a full-blown rebellion.
And this slide really nails the why behind that rebellion. You see, the whole AI market is shifting from training the AI brain to actually using it, which is called inference. Training is this massive one-time cost where you need the absolute best of the best, the Ferrari chip, which is what NVIDIA sells. But inference? That's an ongoing, everyday cost. And for that, a cheaper, good enough Toyota might just do the trick. That's the market these tech giants are going after with their own custom chips.
Okay, so the siege is very real. The threats are absolutely credible. But this is where the entire story pivots. The common wisdom is that NVIDIA is now on the defensive, hunkering down for a brutal fight. But the reality is that the market might be fundamentally misreading the strength and the nature of NVIDIA's defenses.
This is the counter-thesis. See, NVIDIA's strategy isn't just about building higher walls around the fortress. It's an active defense. It's about taking each of these massive threats and cleverly turning them into a competitive advantage. Let's break down exactly how they're doing it.
First, let's go right back to that energy crisis we started with. For most companies, it's a huge problem. But for NVIDIA, power scarcity isn't a problem, it's a catalyst. Think about it. If your data center's power is capped, say at 100 megawatts, the only way to get more AI performance is to use way more efficient chips. And look at this. The new Blackwell platform is up to 25 times more energy efficient. This forces a massive rip-and-replace upgrade cycle across the industry. Upgrading is no longer a choice. It's a necessity just to stay in the game.
Okay, now for the supply chain. This move is it's incredibly shrewd. You know the saying, you can't sell a chip you can't build? Well, NVIDIA has used its mountain of cash to prepay billions, locking down the vast majority of the world's most advanced chip packaging capacity. It's called CoWoS, at TSMC all the way through 2027. This isn't just about securing their own supply. No, this is a defensive moat that physically blocks competitors like AMD and Amazon from even being able to manufacture their rival chips at scale. It's brilliant.
And what about that good enough inference market we talked about? Is NVIDIA just going to let it go? Not a chance. They are fighting back with a powerful 2-pronged attack. On the software side, they've launched NIMs. These are basically pre-built containers that make it incredibly easy for developers to deploy models on NVIDIA's chips. It creates a powerful software lock-in. And on the hardware side, they just went and acquired Groq, a key competitor with amazing low-latency tech, essentially taking the biggest technological threat in that space right off the board.
So we've seen the threats and we've seen NVIDIA's moats. This brings us to the financial climax of the whole argument. How is Wall Street actually pricing all of this?
Well, the contention here is that the market sees all the risks crystal clear, but it seems to be almost completely ignoring the incredible quality of NVIDIA's defenses and its underlying business.
I know what you're thinking. It's the question everyone asks. The stock has had this unbelievable historic run. It just has to be overvalued, right? How could it possibly not be too expensive to be a good investment from here?
This chart is the knockout punch of the financial argument. Let's break it down, because it's important. The vertical axis, going up, is ROIC, return on invested capital. Just think of it as a quality score. The higher it is, the better the company is at turning $1 into more dollars. The horizontal axis, left to right, is the PEG ratio. Think of that as the price tag, but adjusted for growth. The further to the left, the cheaper the stock is. And now, look where NVIDIA is, all by itself in the top left bubble, the golden corner. It has the highest quality, an ROIC of nearly 80%, which is even better than Apple, for a cheaper valuation than its main rival, AMD. It is an incredibly rare combination of elite quality at what looks like a bargain price.
So, what's the verdict here? Let's bring it all together. The siege on Fortress NVIDIA is absolutely formidable. The threats are real, the competition is intense, but when you really dig into the countermeasures, a totally different picture emerges. The defenses, they're even stronger.
So let's just recap it one last time. That energy crisis that was supposed to be a problem, it's now a catalyst, forcing upgrades to NVIDIA's new chips. The competition from rivals, they're being outmaneuvered and even acquired. The supply chain, it's been weaponized to physically block competitors. And the valuation, even after this crazy run-up, still looks compelling when you factor in its supreme quality and growth.
And that really leaves us with this one final thought. The market today seems to be pricing in all the risk of the coming siege, but it seems to be fundamentally ignoring the incredible and maybe even growing strength of the fortress itself.